to Wildcat Chronicles. We're your hosts, Alyssa Stack
and Ericka Lesbrons. We created this show to interview students and Wilmington High School staff to gain more information about the senior exploration and the impact this experience has on students in the Wilmington community.
Senior exploration is offered to graduating seniors for about 4 to 5 weeks during their last quarter of high school. Students get the option of choosing a project or internship that has to be approved by the administration first. These projects or internships have to replace a school day and need to be 30 hours a week, depending on if you take AP classes or not.
Our first episode will be dedicated to internships, and our first guest is Matthew Mosick. Matthew, would you like to introduce yourself and give us some background information?
Yeah, so I am a senior at the high school. In the fall, I'm going to Emmanuel College for nursing, and I chose to do an internship, and I'm doing it at the Waterfront Health Center in the North End in Boston.
Perfect. And what tasks do you have to complete at your internship?
I kind of do like a variety of things, whether it's like going around making sure like everything's like safety protocols good in the building, or I learned about like all the vaccines and like the different types of medication that you would give to various patients. And I also, I recently just helped the PR team with a promotional flyer for one of their like grant funds they do, which is called Photo Voice. So I kind of do a lot of things, I guess.
Fun.
Why did you choose to do an internship instead of a project?
I chose to do this internship instead of a project because I felt like it would better prepare me for my career as a nurse, and it would like better help me like gain experience before going into nursing school in the fall.
Perfect. And how did this internship come about?
So my mom and my grandmother both work at the health center that I'm interning at. I've been going there for like my doctor's appointments ever since I was like a little kid. So when it came time to like choose, I knew it was kind of just what I wanted to do and like where I wanted to go for the internship.
And what has been your favorite part of your internship thus far?
Honestly, my favorite part has been like just seeing all the nurses and all like the medical professionals in action. I think it's really cool to just kind of observe like their day-to-day like activities and what they do. And I also really enjoy like thinking that like in a few years that will be me in their position. So
you also kind of already said this, but like what else are you trying to get out of it, the like experience?
I am just trying to just see what nurses do. I've wanted to be a nurse since I was like a little kid, so I think it's really cool to just see like what they do in their day-to-day lives and like what they're responsible for and like how to care for patients. And so in a sense, I'm kind of hoping that I'll, while being there, gain that sense of like hospitality almost for patients and like learning how to approach them in like a respectful and professional manner.
So do you think you're getting good like real world experience out of this?
Yeah, I would say so.
So how was your experience on selecting your college? Because you said you were going to Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Like what factors like helped you decide that college? Like was it the campus, the food, the people, the program?
It was all of that. I knew I wanted to be in a city setting. I knew I didn't want to be in like a rural area. And so Emmanuel is in Boston. It's right next to Fenway. And also a big part for me was clinicals. Either, it depends on the college, but like sophomore or like junior year, like you end up going to the hospitals and like start learning all that stuff. And I knew I wanted to be in Boston because Boston has some of the best hospitals in the country. And yeah, and I also love the campus. It's like cute. It's like small. It's like put together. Touring other schools that were like bigger, I liked them. They checked all my boxes, just that it was a little too big. And I actually just visited a few weeks ago for like the acceptance students day, and the simulation labs at the nursing program was really cool. And it was all those that like made me pick Emmanuel.
Lovely.
Do you know what branch of nursing you want to do, like pediatrics or ER?
I definitely want to do something in pediatrics. I love kids. I've loved kids. Like I have so many younger cousins. I have a younger sister who's in first grade. I don't really know what kind of pediatric nursing I want to go into yet, but I do know that I do want to do nursing with children. So.
Perfect.
Are you enrolled in any AP classes? And if so, what classes and how are you managing your time between going to your class and your internship?
Yeah, so I'm in AP Psychology. I have it on Blue Days, and I also have to go back for band, which is... but I definitely would just say in the beginning of the week, I go over with like my supervisor at the health center. I just say what times I have to be in class for. And then based on when I have class, we kind of accommodate when I would go in and how long I would be there for.
Perfect.
How was your process of finding your internship and like getting it approved and just going being like for you?
Mm-hmm. It honestly wasn't super hard. I brought it up to my mom because I knew I wanted to try and at least go there. And all she did was she asked her boss, who asked the supervisor of like the entire thing. She'd done it before, so it was approved, and yeah.
And how do you get to your internship every day to and from?
I actually take the commuter rail into the North Station, and then from North Station, it's like a 10-minute walk.
Okay. Oh, is that me now? If a junior? Or do you want to do that?
I can do it. It's fine. If a junior at Wilmington High School asked you for advice about the senior exploration, what would you say to them?
I would say to them, just plan out like your time wisely and don't wait till last minute to do it because it can kind of get really stressful.
Perfect. What do you think the benefits are of partaking in a senior exploration for students in their last quarter of senior year?
I think it's good because, as you guys said earlier, it gets you like real world experience of like what you want to do. And like I do know I want to go into nursing, but like say like I hypothetically like did this and found out like, oh, like the medical field like isn't for me. The internship would serve as like a good thing, like that it like reminded me that I wouldn't want to do that, as opposed to like going to college for 2 years for something and then finding out that I didn't want to do it.
Right.
In your own words, can you explain the senior exploration and what it means to you?
Yeah, so the senior exploration is a period of time at the end of your senior year where you can either do a project or internship that will either help you gain real world experiences. And honestly, I'm grateful that the high school has students do this because I feel like it's a good way to kind of ease your way into graduation, so you're not just not going to school anymore. And I like doing it because I also get a sense of what my future will be in the next 4 years and the rest of my life being a nurse. So
perfect. Now to move on from the senior exploration questions, we have some fun questions for you. What do you think you'll miss most about high school?
I'm going to miss all my friends. I've made a lot of friends in high school, and seeing them every day and hanging out with them is what makes school fun. And so leaving high school, it's definitely going to be something I miss. So.
Okay, perfect. We love that. As you know, Munchies is a huge part at Wilmington High School. What was your usual Munchies order?
Fun fact, I never bought Munchies with my own lunch account. I always had my friends buy me it, but I would always get a double chocolate cookie if they had it, and then sometimes I would get the little, I think they're called Switches. It's the it's the kind of soda, I don't know, but that would be my go-to order. Munchies will be missed. It will be missed, yes.
I bought Matthew a cookie literally every day for half the year. What other activities were you a part of during your time at WHS?
Yeah, I've been a part of band since I was in 4th grade. So I have a few leadership positions in that. And then I'm also in a few clubs. I'm in student council. I'm in SAD. I am in social justice / peace club. And Rotary Interact Club. And all these clubs, I'm grateful that I joined early on because I got to know all the advisors of the club and like speak up like what I thought would like benefit both like the community in the school and for the club without being like afraid to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Is there any activity that you're going to miss the most next year?
I'm going to miss bands, only because a lot of my good friends are in that class, but also because it's been something I've been doing since I was so little. I started when I was 10 years old, and it's been something that I've loved doing, and especially in 8th grade when I started going to band camp every year, it kind of became like a tradition that I looked forward to every year. And so it being over this year kind of still hasn't hit me, but I feel like that's what I'm going to miss the most.
What instrument do you play?
I play the trumpet.
Okay.
This is an important question. Is there any teachers that you want to give credit to or say thank you to for helping you during your senior year?
I want to give a shout out to 2 teachers. I want to thank Miss Tucker because I go to her legit every day and I just sit there and talk, and whenever I'm stressed, I'll go to her and she'll give me advice on like how to cope with it or just lead me on what to do next. And I also want to give a thanks to Miss Bellavia. Love her. She's my favorite. I looked forward to going to her class every day, or every other day rather. But yeah, she was definitely one that would always help me get whatever I was going through. So.
Lovely. And I think you kind of already touched upon this, but were there any influences in your life that helped you discover your passion for healthcare or that just supported you through your time in high school?
Yeah, so my mom and my grandmother are a nurse, but I also have like a lot of cousins that are also nurses. And so growing up, I would always hear about like their work experiences and what they would do in a daily life. And it kind of accumulated throughout my childhood. And I just knew it was something that I wanted to do.
We love that. Thank you so much for being a part of our show and sharing your experience with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
We wish you the best for your internship.
Thank you.
And our second guest is Nicole Morello. Nicole, if you would like to introduce yourself and give us some background information about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Nicole Morello. I'm doing an internship for my senior exploration graduation requirement. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so we're just going to ask you a bunch of questions, and then you just answer to what you think
Sounds good.
is. So your first question is, what are you doing for your internship, and what tasks do you have to complete?
Yeah. So for my internship, I'm working with Alyssa Kelly. She runs a nonprofit volunteer-run mission, volunteer-run only, and it's called the Caring Closet. It was established in 2018, and it's located in Andover, Mass. So her mission is to assist low-income families in the greater Merrimack Valley. She works with a bunch of different other organizations and nonprofits. One in specific that I'm thinking of is Neighbors in Need. She works with a bunch of the social workers there, and usually the social workers will request that a family needs something, and all her donations are from family, friends, daycares, other organizations, and with all her donations, she'll hopefully try to help a family in need. Usually it's kids. Most of it's clothing, too. So I've been going in there about 3 times a week in person, from about 8:30 to 2:30, and doing a bunch of different things. Primarily looking at the clothes, making sure it passes inspection. When you walk into it's in her house. When you walk into her basement, it's like a store. There's bins everywhere. It's crazy. It's amazing. So making sure clothes pass through inspection first, along with diapers passing through inspection, car seats, cribs. That all goes through an inspection process, so that all needs to be taken care of before it's distributed to a family in need. Making donation runs. She has a drop-off bin at her house, but if you're not unable to, if you're close, she'll go and pick up the item. So I've done a bunch of those local in Andover. And then also dropping off cribs this week. We dropped off 2 cribs, one in Methuen, one in Lawrence. So those passed inspection, and then we sent them off to someone that needed them. So I think 2 toddlers are going to be using those. And then I'm at home 2 times a week when she is at her other job. She's a full-time nurse as well. So when she is at the hospital, I'll be home. I've made her business cards. I designed her a new logo. We're working on making an Amazon wish list. What else have I done? I made flyers. We're working on a spring drive for a clothing drive in May. So we did flyers for that. A bunch of different things. Yeah, it's been awesome.
What was the inspection process like for each item?
Yeah, so for clothes, really just looking at stains and on pants, like if the knees are worn in when kids like go down slides and stuff like that. So if there's stains or anything, rips or there's like strings hanging off, that immediately just gets discarded. For cribs, we wash them off, making sure there's no stains, no like baby spit up or whatever. And then making sure all the parts are with the crib. We don't bring it to them assembled. They have to assemble it themselves just because it's easier for delivery purposes. Making sure all the tools are there, all the screws. And then you have to make sure it was manufactured at a certain time or else it's not safe for the child. So making sure that's manufactured at a certain date and just making sure it's a good crib. There's like, I think a list of like 5 that need to be like the top priority or top main names for cribs. So that also needs to be on the list. And then for car seats, it's about the same. It has to pass inspection by the date, if it's a good company, if the seatbelt's working, things like that, making sure the size is right for the toddler that they're giving it to or the kid that still needs a car seat. So yeah.
That's great. And why did you choose to do an internship instead of a project?
Yeah. So over the school year, I did service learning with Miss Dunlap, and Alyssa Kelly actually came in to the class and was like, I really need someone for my social media purposes and just promoting my business more. She is run on social media of Facebook right now. So she's trying to promote her business on other platforms because I feel like Facebook, you only hit a certain audience. So trying to broaden her horizons and get on other platforms. And so I reached out to her after that, and she was like, I'd love to have you come on and join the team. So I'm obviously doing all the stuff in person as clothing and like sorting and organizing like that. But I'm also touching on the social media part because I'm hoping to major that in college. So it will give me some hands-on experience for that.
Perfect. What is your favorite part about your internship so far?
I'd say it's a volunteer-run business, so I'm not getting paid for anything. She has about 15 volunteers. None of them are getting paid for this. Alyssa's not getting paid for this. It's just out of the kindness of their heart. So I think the best part about it is going in, doing my service, and after 6-7 hours leaving and being proud that I've like helped people in the community. And these are like low-income families, so they really need some assistance and some help and stuff like that. So I think that's the best part.
And what are you hoping to get out of this experience?
Experience such as, I think, just for the outside world. Again, I'm hoping to major in sports management in college. So it doesn't touch on the sports aspect, but definitely the management and running a business and things like that. So I'm hoping to get a lot out of it, a lot of hands-on work. I've already got a lot of experience on like the management part of like the business on social media. So like creating those business cards, sending them to Alyssa, and then she's like, oh, I want this change. So getting that feedback, fixing it, doing it for revisions again, something like that. Yeah.
Now, you already kind of touched upon this, but like about your experiences, but do you think you're getting a real world experience by partaking in this?
I think so. There's not a lot of people that do this. Again, it's like literally out of the kindness of your heart to do it. But I think it is because even going to like drop off the crib at a family in Lawrence or Lowell or Methuen, you're seeing the conditions that they're living in, and you're like, wow, like they're really going to use this crib, or wow, they're really going to need this car seat. So yeah, it does see a different perspective onto like what others are dealing with, because I feel like a lot of us here in Wilmington and other surrounding communities, we don't really experience that here a lot. So it's giving me a different perspective onto other people's viewpoints.
That's wonderful.
And you also already kind of said this, but is this a career path you intend to pursue in college? And do you know what college you're going to?
Yeah. Honestly, now that I'm working with Alyssa, I really hope to like continue working with her. I want to major in sports management, so it's definitely not probably going to lead me on to something like this type of business, but it's great experience, especially with the management part of managing her like social media business. And then aside for college, I'm going to Colby Sawyer College. I'm committed for soccer, and yeah, I'll be doing sports management there. So I'm excited.
How was your experience in selecting a college? Because I know yours is different because you got recruited for a sport. And what factors led you to pick Colby Sawyer?
Oh, gosh. So I started my sophomore year looking at schools. I was primarily looking just for soccer. I think towards the end of my junior year, I started to look more toward academics as well, because I think at one point I was like, I can't just look for soccer because I'm also going for my academic part too. So I was like, I need to start looking for schools just in case soccer weren't to work out for me. But yeah, so I started my sophomore year, and then when it finally came down to a couple schools, actually Colby Sawyer was never on my list. My mom always said to add it, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna like it there. I'm not gonna tour it. And then I had like a top 3. I was pretty certain I was going to go to one school, and then they just kept reaching out to me, and I was like, you know what, I'll go tour. So I toured it, loved it, kind of marked off all the check boxes for me. It's Division III, which was something I wanted because I can also do my academics and study hard, but also be a part of like my favorite sport ever to play. So it was best of both worlds. And yeah, after I did my overnight and everything like that, committed a couple weeks later. So yeah.
Perfect.
And are you enrolled in any AP classes? If so, what classes? And how are you managing your time between that and your internship?
I take one AP class this year. I'm taking AP Language and Composition. So that deducts 5 off of my 30 hours for my internship. So I do 25 hours a week. So far, this is my first week trying to manage the two. It's been pretty well. I have my AP class on Blue Days, so I have it Blue Day 1 and then Blue Day 4. So I'll have it the morning and the afternoon. So it's pretty well to manage. If I have it Blue Day 1, I'll go in the morning till 9:30 for my class, and then I'll go to my internship right after. And then if I have it in the afternoon, I'll do my internship first, and then I'll go to my class.
Perfect.
Was the person you're doing your internship with worried about you going to an AP class and like splitting off the time?
I don't think so. When I reached out to her, we immediately scheduled time to meet up in person. So we met up and we got to see each other face to face and talk a little bit more. I think right away she saw the person. I'm super organized and super like structured, and I think she knew right away that I would handle it all. I made her a schedule of my AP classes so she'd know when I couldn't come in or the times I couldn't come in. So I made sure off the bat that she knew that I had an AP class and I would try my best to work through it.
What was the process of you finding your internship, getting it approved, and then just going, like for you?
So I found it through Miss Dunlap, through my service learning class. Again, Alyssa came in and she spoke to us about our business, and she said she needed someone for social media, so I definitely reached out to her right away. And then once I got her approval, I think through the school we had to fill out a couple of worksheets and papers. So those got approved by staff here in Miranda. And also Mr. Drendan emailed me and said this was like a great idea to do. And so that also got approved by him.
Great. And if a junior asked you a question about the senior exploration, what advice would you give them?
I'd say do something that you either want to major in college or you want experience in for like outside high school. I think if you're going to do something that isn't really beneficial for your future, why are you spending 5 weeks doing it? Especially 30 hours a week for most kids. Like, that's a long time. So do something that either you find interesting, you think something that is really important to you, just something that you're going to benefit out of it, because it is a super long time. And again, we're not in school right now, so this is what we're doing besides school, and just get the most out of it.
What do you think the benefits of partaking in a senior exploration is for students that are in their last quarter of senior year?
I think, again, getting some experience before we head out into the real world and to our desired colleges that we have chosen. Yeah.
And in your own words, can you explain the senior exploration and what it means to you?
That's a tough one. In my own words. I would say passion, something that again, you think is super important to you, and something that you want to take your time in for 5 weeks of your time when you're not in school.
Perfect.
So we're going to move on from senior exploration questions, and we're just going to do a couple fun questions just to talk about senior year.
Yeah.
So what do you think you'll miss the most about high school?
Oh, gosh. I think just seeing everyone, because, I mean, when you're not in school, you're either at, like, a sports event or at your job or whatever. So I think just, like, seeing all the familiar faces in the hallway, because right now no one else has committed to my college. So I'm kind of just stepping into it with open arms and meeting a lot of new friends and a lot of new people. So definitely going to miss just seeing people in the hallway.
And as we know, Munchies was a big part of Wilmington. What was your daily Munchies order?
So actually, I never put Munchies money in my accounts in sophomore year because I tried those cookies freshman and sophomore year, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, I am going to get so fat off of this. So I stopped putting money in my account sophomore year, which probably is like people are like, why are you doing that? Like, that's ridiculous. But again, like, I was like, I can't. Like, they honestly hurt my stomach too. Like, after eating them, they hurt my stomach so bad. But if I were to get Munchies, like when I did have my account and I put money in it, I was using it to buy cookies, obviously. Also, I think Alyssa tries them, the sun chips. Those are amazing. What else would I buy? I tried the pretzels once. They weren't that good. But the cookies mostly, like what everyone goes for.
I remember this year for lunch, you never got a cookie, and we'd always make fun of you for it. You never got one.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. What other activities were you a part of at Wilmington High School?
Yep. So Rotary Club, I've been a part of that for 3-4 years. National Honor Society, I'm the secretary of that. I was captain for soccer for the girls' varsity team this year. I think that's about it.
And are there any teachers you want to give credit to or just say thank you for helping you through high school?
Definitely Miss Tucker. She has been great the last 2 years, especially with National Honor Society. I'd say Miss Dunlap. She's one of the business teachers at Wilmington High School, so she's definitely been a great mentor with my service learning project and then helping me with my internship. I'm so glad I found Alyssa through her, which has been great.
Last question. Mm-hmm. Were there any influences in your life that just helped you or like supported you throughout high school?
This is such a general answer, but probably my parents, especially through my whole recruiting process. My parents have been like my biggest support through it all. Definitely, it's high school is a challenging process. Looking for a college is a challenging process, and then when you add on to get recruited for a sport, it's even harder. So just with all of that, I'd say my parents have been the biggest help through it all, really.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your experience with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
We wish you the best for the rest of your internship.
Thank you.
And good luck at school.
Thanks.
We are Alyssa Stack
and Ericka, and we'll see you at the next episode of Wildcat Chronicles.